Guys, the Armenian army starts. Alex,
No.
I'm gonna let you announce what this first signing for. They've done a few things here, but
They done some few good things here. I called it back as soon as they got eliminated, I think.
I have our trade stuff if we want to look at it later and see how we all did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said that this team needs Zach Bogosian, and they have signed Zach Bogosian. 1 year, $1 million. I'm in the works right now. I said it. I made a promise to all three of you, to you two and Mike. I said, if Zach Bogosian signs with the Toronto Maple Leafs, I will buy his jersey. I am in the works of getting that jersey right now. As soon as I find out his number. If you run the Toronto Maple Leafs Twitter account and listen to this show, just check your DMs. I might have sent you one to find out what number he is.
Real Sports right now, 20% off.
I saw that. I saw that. His number on there is 22, but I haven't seen it anywhere else. So I just wanted to double check. So if anyone has any inside sources, throw it our way. I really like that signing. Mm-hmm. Other than he's Armenian, he's just really he's gritty. Mm-hmm. Not the mascot. That guy punched a kid in the face. That's not cool.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
Hit in the back of the head.
Allegedly hit a kid in the back of the head.
We can't get sued. All right. We don't have enough.
I'm sorry. Allegedly.
Daniel, how do you feel about Bogo for Norris being on the team?
That guy's Instagram. But yeah, I like it. Right hand shot. He's a guy that, it's the same thing that we talked about. He's the kind of guy where, he really rejuvenated himself. And I think at the perfect time where he is right now, 29, 30, where he's showing that there's so much more he could kind of do. I think he's kind of reinvented himself when Tampa gave him that chance. In Buffalo, everybody wrote him off. And then suddenly the Lightning take him up and they show you're just not using him properly. And I think he's coming into a lineup now in Toronto where they know how to use him properly. They know how to win, I think. And they know how to really kind of, have this culture around it that, this is a team we're in it. And I think that just kind of shows that, bringing him in on this deal and allegedly on, I think it was Pierre LeBrun who talked about it, where he accepted less money to come to Toronto because he just liked the fit.
I love to hear that. Players who want to play in Toronto or play for their team. Just before, I don't know exactly where you're going at, but he kind of confirmed that there was going to be a meeting between him and Dubas back in February. He confirmed it on Hockey Central today, but he said they pulled out. Obviously, this was after David Ayres, that whole mumbo jumbo. I was a little upset after that, but yeah,
Black Friday.
It was my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
The only good thing that came out of it is I somehow got on Live Laugh Leafs. That was the only good part. That was it.
Hey, Mike Stevens, how are you? Question for both of you. I'll start with Daniel, because Alex and I did talk about it before, so I know what he's going to say. But first, Daniel, where does Bogosian play, and why is it with Morgan Riley? Just kidding. Where do you see him fitting in the lineup?
I think he's a guy that, he's probably going to go. This is my opinion. I think he is going to jump over Justin Hall on the depth chart. Yes, I think it's just.
Are you about to say he's going to play with Jake Muzzin?
I think that'd be a great fit, to be honest.
That's he has
a lot of experience playing in this league already. I think Justin Hall's an excellent player, but I just kind of feel that where you kind of put him in the top four doesn't really sit well with me. And I think it's going to happen sooner than later because the Leafs, they're going in, if they sign Travis Dermott, 7 capable guys for 6 spots.
Right.
And that's a good problem to have.
That's good. Alex.
That is I can't even think about that. That's more grit than the entire team has had for the last 5 years on one defensive pairing.
The Bash Brothers.
Oh my God. I didn't realize you brought it up. Zach Bogosian's 30. I did not realize he was only 30. I thought he was well into his 30s. Do you want me to kind of project what I have my defense pairs at, or you want to leave that for later?
All their other signings are forwards, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Travis Boyd is, but
No,
okay.
center.
Then yeah, might as well. Yeah. Go ahead. What do you got?
So
do you have it written down?
No, I have it in my head.
He's written down in his mind.
Okay, I was gonna turn that into a plug for the YouTube if we have.
Oh well, you can. Sorry, I've been thinking about it all day, and it's been changing every hour because I can't figure out. I've been thinking nonstop because I've heard multiple people, like multiple trusted people I trust, talk about Zach Bogosian playing with Morgan Riley. And I don't know if I like it. Maybe because I have this really poor mindset of Zach Bogosian. But I was listening to Live Laugh Leafs. Justin Cuthbert was talking about it and saying, well, he was one of the guys who was not in the bubble, but in the arena watching the games. And he said, watching Zach Bogosian play, it looks like he can actually complement Morgan Riley the most based on how he played with Victor Hedman. And I know what you're going to say. Victor Hedman's not Morgan Riley. I know. But Zach Bogosian when he played with Victor Hedman, let Hedman kind of roam free and do his thing. And Morgan Riley looked best playing next to Ron Hainsey, who let him do his thing. And I'm talking myself into Zach Bogosian playing with Morgan Riley. And I don't know if I like it.
Well, finish. I can then go through the rest of your defensive pairings, and then Dale and I will have a little peek.
So if my first pairing is Riley and Bogosian, my second pair is Muzzin Brody. My third pair. Sorry, my third pair is Lettinen Dermott, and then you have Justin Hall as your 7. I know, but because they said Dubas came out and said Dermott is going to play on the right side, or they're going to try it, like actually try it, not rumored. That's what right. So finally, I've heard. Listen, I trust Chris Johnson. I trust him with my deepest. Well, I wouldn't trust him because he'd probably leak it. I trust in what he says. He's a hockey insider. I wouldn't trust him with my deepest, darkest secret. It's just true. I didn't think about it before I said it. I trust him when it comes to hockey and not. Like when he said something about hockey, I trust him, right? Adam's never gonna get over it.
What happened? What happens to Rasmus Sandin?
He probably starts in the AHL.
All right, Daniel, say what you want. I need to get some Gatorade.
All right. Yeah, I kind of agree with it too. Just I think as much as I've said again, I like Justin Hall. I think he's just been overvalued a bit on this team because he plays the right side. It just with what they have now and what they could kind of work with, I think he gets squeezed out at this point. He's a guy has the least experience in the NHL. He's someone that, a great story. He kind of worked his way up being a university guy and then making it for Toronto after the Blackhawks didn't sign him as a prospect. But at this point, I think you're going to have to go with who is your best 6. And I think that there it is, what Alex said. Like, it's just right there now. Like, Mikko Lettinen was, this is a guy that, he was pretty hyped up coming out of Europe that you're not going to make him your 7th defenseman.
No. The reason I brought up CJ is that he was on SD the last or second last, I guess by the time this comes out, second last, because they just came out with one. But talking about Mikko Lettinen and how his trusted guys in Europe really value Mikko Lettinen. So I do think Mikko Lettinen's going to be in the starting, in the top 6. I don't think that's necessarily a question. I think that, and I didn't get to say it before, I think the team goes with 7 defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the worst thing. I mean, there could be.
They can do it.
I wonder if you maybe you scratch a Spezza or a Simmons because of the condensed schedule. Nothing against their play. And I'd like to see more 7 defensemen. Like Tampa did it a few times in the playoffs. Did they
I think
not?
they did it a lot during the playoffs.
And Lettinen, by the way, I think he was just named Defenseman of the Week as well, right? In the KHL.
I believe he has 13 points in 8 games.
Jesus. And I know people will say, well, the KHL. And I've read the same things, Alex. So these guys legitimately saying he is a top 4 defenseman. And a lot of people are going to say Soshnikov and that. But I mean, guys, the KHL is the second best league in the world. I mean, look at how big Radulov has been for the Dallas Stars, right? I mean, he's real. He is real. I wanted Montreal to get him really badly, and you bastards took him.
I don't think it's the same. Like what I've heard about Lettinen isn't the same. What I heard about Ilya Mikheyev is not what the same I heard about Igor Orziganov. Is not what I heard about Nikita Soshnikov. Mm-hmm. Like this isn't a random Russian player hopping overseas.
Daniel, anything to say about Lettinen on your end?
I'm pretty hyped, to be honest. I think that, it gives them a lot of time now to see what they want with Rasmus Sandin. They don't have to really rush the kid anymore. I don't think they were. I think he really did earn the call-ups he got.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is a guy that he wants to play. He is the best when it comes to the increased role that they don't have to thrust him in anywhere anymore. But at the same time, too, that's such a great added insurance for Toronto. Like, worst comes to worst, if someone goes down, no problem. They have that proven replacement in the system already.
If Martin Marincin has to touch NHL ice, something is seriously wrong.
There is something I'm just that's going through my head right now is we're talking about maybe Dermott not making it. Shall we spare a thought for Timothy Liljegren?
Yeah.
We love you, dude, but
I want him to make the NHL so bad, man.
Though we'll go to another signing by the Leafs. Jimmy Vesey, 1 year, $900,000.
They finally did it.
They got it.
We won.
Yes.
We won the Jimmy Vesey sweepstakes.
So for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Vesey was a big name coming out of college hockey a few years ago, and it was the biggest freaking deal in the world. I remember who was going to win the VC sweepstakes. Then he came into New York, and he's not a terrible NHLer. He is a very good depth player. But man, and that's what the Leafs are getting. But we joke about the sweepstakes, and there was the joke obviously of you trade Nylander if you get VC. I know they have both, but man, I mean, Jimmy freaking Vesey, man. I mean, take it away, Alex. Again, this is a nice cheap depth option.
I get I think I don't really want to mix him in, but we're gonna do it anyways. Him and Travis Boyd, who's a center, who again these are kind of. I think you lose Johnsson and Kapanen, and we'll get to the Johnsson trade. I think these are real depth pieces. I don't necessarily. I could see Jimmy Vesey playing on the third line. I do see him more as a fourth line guy at the moment. If he impresses, I can see him. I don't even listen, you know what name we haven't talked about, or at least I haven't thought about it in a while? Pierre Engvall. Where's that guy slotting in the lineup? We're just assuming he's going to be I mean, the more we think about it, the less it seems Nick Robertson's going to be a full-time NHLer. So maybe Pierre Engvall slots in that third line left wing role. And if Jimmy Vesey impresses, let's move that guy up. So I think Vesey is more of an NHLer than Travis Boyd is, but at the end of the day, they're both depth pieces. Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, I've always kind of had second thoughts, or I'm a bit more reserved when it comes to these lower picked NCAA standouts, because the way I kind of see it is that you just never really know what's gonna happen. I remember when Danny DeKaiser was really hyped up, as being an undrafted guy coming out of Michigan, and then he's become solid for the Red Wings, but he's not Nicholas Lidstrom. But at the same time too, like we've looked at the NCAA products before, like Adam Fox, Dante Fabro this last year, they've really kind of shown it. I think it's just with Jimmy Vesey, it's the same thing that happened with Justin Schultz, that you hype this guy up who played 4 years of university, decides not to sign with the team that drafts him, and the expectations are just way too high. And I think that's what burned him. Mm-hmm. I think he's still going to be a great player. It was a very solid depth signing for the Leafs, but I think I think it's just coming out of the sweepstakes, what they had before and what they actually have in him now has really put things into a lot of perspective of, where did it kind of go wrong? Was it the development? Because the skill is there. I don't know what kind of happened with him in New York.
Hey, if there's a team that could probably unlock a player's skill, maybe help them put it together. I mean, VC, if there's an injury or two and he can move up, he could really help out. Do you guys want to move on from VC or anything else to say?
No, nothing else. Depth guy. Interesting.
Yeah, sweet. And he's cheap. Which
exactly.
Is everyone needs that right now. Even though, nothing. I'm going to bring that up later. Never mind. Another signing, a depth signing, a third goalie signing. Even though I think Kaskisuo deserves a shot. Damn it. But Aaron Dell, former goalie of the San Jose Sharks, signs in Toronto for a year, $800,000. Guys, I just like Kaskisuo. He's funny.
He went to, I don't know if you saw, he signed in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Kaskisuo?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Yesterday, I think.
Yeah, when he thanked the Marlies for 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know Gustafsson had signed with Chicago until I looked at the notes today. My apology. I did not know that.
Yeah. He signed yesterday or 2 days ago.
Wait, did you mean Gustafsson with Philadelphia?
Eric Gustafsson.
Who did I say he went to? Yeah, Eric Gustafsson.
Chicago.
No,
what?
He went to Philadelphia.
No, I know, but Adam said Chicago.
Oh, it's okay. Whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I'll remind you, it's 9 p.m.
Yeah. Whatever. It's interesting. It's a good third guy, right? Like, I think that's kind of what he is for this team. Like, I don't really think he's battling for the backup spot. I think the team's very content with Jack Campbell as a backup. I think that's kind of why they got him. And, where they really struggled last year is, I believe Freddie went down for some period of time and they were stuck with Campbell. I think was in the organization and Michael Hutchinson.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Michael. Like, it's just not. Listen, he's a great guy, but
your cousin Matthew's also a really nice guy, by the way, Mom. Really nice guy, actually.
I bet they're great. It's just it didn't work out in Toronto,
and it didn't really work out in Colorado.
I guess
for like that one game.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think he's a much better option in my opinion than Michael Hutchinson. And I think, he doesn't have a whole lot of NHL experience. I believe he's played 100 games. But for, Joseph Wall and Ian Scott, I think this guy could be a good mentor. Mm-hmm. He spent most of his time, like he spent the last 4 years being a backup to Martin Jones.
So he'll be used to maybe high scoring chances against because San Jose are terrible.
I guess so. Yeah.
Brent Burns.
Yeah.
Daniel. He's not a vet, not a lot of games, but yeah. As Alex is saying here, but there are worse options for a third goalie.
Yeah, definitely. Like I like that NHL experience he had. I think, to be honest, he was a bit misplaced with the amount of games the Sharks were giving him when Martin Jones struggled.
Yeah.
But where he is right now, where he's not really going to challenge Jack Campbell or anything, he is a great insurance policy to have. And he's someone that, you could probably keep around beyond this year to see, what they kind of have in him or how they want to kind of use him. But like I really see this guy as playing like a few games here and there if needed.
You know what could be worse? You can have Mike Smith as your backup goalie.
No.
We will get we will get to Edmonton later.
Sorry, I just meant to say that.
Oh, that was bad. They really swung and missed with Markstrom. And then Smith took him to the cleaners. Anyway, we'll get to signings in a second. Actually, you know what? Let's just finish with Travis Boyd now. Then we'll get to Johnsson.
I don't have much to say about Travis Boyd. Like, he's a depth guy. I don't really see him touching NHL ice just because I don't necessarily think the Leafs are done making moves.
Daniel, do you have anything to say about Travis Boyd?
Same thing too. Insurance policy that he'll play meaningful minutes on the Marlies, but he'll be called up if something happens. He'll be like Nick Payton 2.0.
Thank God. Okay, then good. A beloved Toronto Maple Leafs unfortunately had to be dealt because of cap situations. That was the Mango.
Yeah.
Andreas Johnsson gets dealt to the New Jersey Devils. A nice pickup for the Devils if Johnsson can stay healthy in exchange for Joey Anderson. And Alex, I'll throw it to you here first because last episode you mentioned about Rachel Dory talking about him. Of course, she used to work for the Devils. She knows what she's talking about. Let's tackle first. What are the Leafs getting in a guy like Joey Anderson? And then after that, we can maybe just reflect on Johnsson. So, Joey Anderson.
From what I've read, they first saw him as the Blake Coleman type guy. And now I've been reading maybe he can look to be in the style of play of Zach Hyman. Which, listen, I think the Leafs need a guy like that. Like another guy like that, especially with Zach Hyman entering the last year of his contract. We don't really know what the future of Hyman is with this team. I really do hope they can re-sign him. It's just cap reality at this point, guys. But we'll see. I think from the Leafs perspective, I think at this point, no matter what trade they made, it was going to be that they were getting pennies on the dollar. Unfortunately, like you just look at what's going on around the league. We talked about last episode, Schmidt, Nudi Vara, Stastny, like they weren't going for market value. And I'm going to commend Kyle Dubas for making the Kapanen trade before the draft when things seemed to absolutely go haywire. Getting a first round pick for Kapanen was, I think, a very good move on Kyle Dubas's part. I wish he moved Johnsson at that time too. Maybe the market wasn't there, whatever the case may be. I think they had to get rid of that salary. Like it was just the reality.
Daniel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think getting something of value of Joey Anderson. I've been pretty familiar with his play.
Did he play in the World Juniors?
Yes, him and his brother Mikey Anderson, but they played for the United States. Yes, I remember like that game was kind of on display where it was a bit of that gritty two-way kind of guy, high energy type of guy that it's another asset the Leafs could get. He's only 22. He was a third round pick in 2016. It's not like you're trading pennies on the dollar. And I'm not saying that he's gonna come up right away or anything, but it's a known commodity where you could get someone that could actually contribute now than like what I think other teams were getting where, the fifth, the fourth, a low third or something. And just seeing where that goes, I think Kyle Dubas actually went out and said, let me get someone that we kind of view could be beneficial to the whole system right now.
Hey, good little bit of asset management. Too bad no one is going to give him the credit. I like Dubas. I really, even as a Habs fan, God, I love Dubas. I really do. By the way, Mango, that's a good nickname. We don't have a lot of those in the NHL.
Yeah.
But Mango is a damn good nickname. And for a 7th round pick, again, that's what Johnsson was. That's really, really good. And you hope he can stay healthy for New Jersey because that is a damn good player at the same time. We'll go with New Jersey a little later. They did sign Corey Crawford. Later on in the show, we'll talk about Craig Smith, Kevin LeBanc, all those type of guys. We'll look at who's still available on the free agent board because there's surprisingly some damn good quality names out there. You mentioned a little bit Daniel, about when Dermott signs a legitimate top 6 or 7 sort of defensive core, at least, of going on here. Before we get to Clifford and Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, that type of stuff, how confident right now, because as you said, Alex, the Leafs probably aren't done here. How do you guys feel about the defensive core compared to what it's been the past couple of years as it stands? And I'll start. I'm going to start with Daniel just because right now on my Zoom call, your face is already there.
Okay. Yeah, like compared to like what they kind of had in the past, where they brought up certain guys that I think they were really misplaced on where they were. Like we talked about the consistency of Ron Hainsey, but that was not a long-term thing. Or Cody Ceci coming in, or like Nikita Zaitsev, like these type of guys where I think same thing what I've said before, like Justin Hall, they've been overvalued for their right hand shot. And what the Leafs kind of have now is the consistency. And this is something that, we've talked about before when we went to 31 Thoughts, is what Chris Johnson talked about, where, we were excited. I remember the enthusiasm we had, like Tyson Barrie coming in, but now I think I'm even more confident with TJ Brody being more of that responsible guy who could really anchor that right side now. And a lot of these other guys that are like, complementing the talent they already had, like I don't think it's just Morgan Riley and friends anymore. I think it's just everything is kind of working for them. And like we saw like how important Jake Muzzin was when he went down. And I think that even though everyone loves him, I still think, Kyle Dubas needs to be applauded for that trade, because at the time I was still really hung up on Carl Grundstrom, but now looking back on him, like it was worth it. Jake Muzzin was a guy that like they absolutely needed, and I didn't know it at the time.
Daniel, you're not allowed to applaud Kyle Dubas, okay? That's just not allowed. You have to be a rebel. Those are the only people. But yeah.
Alex, when he was listing the likes, when Daniel, sorry, you're here, you're not his. When Daniel was listing the likes of CC, like Zaitsev, in Jaws, when you first they met the crazy fisherman, and there's a blackboard, and he puts his nails to insert scratching. Is that what you hear when you hear some of those defensemen?
It's like the music starts playing, and it's like da-na.
Easy.
Da-na. That's what it's like. It's like, oh my God, someone's gonna bite me, or I don't know, whatever. I don't want to think about that, because I think I'm the most confident in this defensive core than I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, Morgan Riley has a defensive partner. I think Zach Bogosian, even if it's Zach Bogosian, I'd make the argument it would be his best defensive partner.
Yeah.
Better than Zaitsev, better than Ceci.
Wait. Slowly say the first name again.
Better than Zaitsev.
Nah.
Better than Ceci.
Nah.
Better than Jake Gardner. I don't know if he's better than Jake Gardner, but
Jake Gardner in Game 7s.
Ooh, Jake Gardner in Game 7s. Okay. Tyson Barrett, giving me nightmares. Stop it. But either it's Bogosian, whether it's Bogosian, Dermott, or Brody, like he has a competent defensive partner, which leaves Muzzin with another competent defensive partner. Everyone's really high on Mikko Lehtinen. Justin Hall, okay, maybe he's not $2 million, but he is still a competent right-hand defenseman. I take back all the bad things I've said about him in the early episodes. I was under the spell of Mike Babcock. That is my excuse. Right. So I think the core that they have there, and still Rasmus Sandin waiting kind of in the wings. I'm very confident in this. I'm more confident in this decor than I was last year and 2 years ago. And Daniel's right. That Jake Muzzin move changed a lot for this team.
Mm-hmm.
It did.